بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الأمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Now that we have finished with grammar, we're going to start with the reading comprehension. Okay, we're going to revise the two stories that we're going to have in the exam. The best way of revising those stories is to go back to the worksheets that we have uploaded on Classera after each story. So the two stories are on the banks of Plum Creek, and the second one is Yosemite. So please pay attention. But before that, I have to tell you something. My kids, in or during the exam, you're going to have like a small paragraph, okay, with like 4 or 5 questions. Please read it carefully, take your time, and answer the questions. Okay, that paragraph, we didn't do it together. It's a new paragraph for you, but that's the only way to test your skills in reading comprehension, which is too important. Okay, so shall we start? Yes, we shall. On the banks of Plum Creek. I know that a lot of people would say, what? But we have finished this, and we have finished Yosemite, and we are in scene 2 now. Yes, I know, but you're going to have your exam about weeks 5, 6, and 7, so please do pay attention. Number 1. What is a badger? Everyone remembers that small animal which attacked the girl. So it's a small flesh-eating animal. It does not eat like people, but it eats small insects, worms, and even the animals which are smaller than him. Okay. Number 1, the bank. It's not a Rashhi Bank or Al Inma Bank or Al Ahli Bank. No. We have said yes, it has that meaning, but in our story, it has the meaning of a land alongside the river or the lake or the creek. It's the land that is just next to the river. Okay? Bristle stood up. Not you. I'm talking about the hair of the cat or any animal. You see, when you're going to touch a cat or you're going to surprise it, is going to like her hair is going to bristle. It's going to stand up like this. Jointed, made of parts that come together. Jointed. Look here. Please pay attention to teacher. Jointed. Jointed. I jointed the two fingers. Then patched, mended with pieces of clothes. Some people are so poor they're going to patch their clothes with some patches. Then ruffled, we have explained this word. We have said that when a skirt of a girl is going to be, it has too many pieces up together, okay? It's going to be called a ruffled skirt, okay? Wrinkled skirt, okay? Rushes are water plants, just like the water plants. The girls were catching or grabbing to survive when they were about to swim in that deep valley with their in that deep river with their father. I hope it's clear. We have explained this a lot of times. You have to revise it. Now we're going to explain it even more. It's going to be easier in sentences. She wore a ruffled skirt to the party. Here, if you're going to say she wore a patched skirt to the party, I'm going to accept it. Because originally this sentence was about Cinderella, okay? And she wore at the beginning, before meeting the wizard, she wore a patched skirt, okay, with a lot of patches. Now the badger dashed into the hole. It ran away and hid into the hole. The cat's hair bristled when the dog came near. Stood up. The boy wore patched jeans and a dirty t-shirt. We sailed the boat up to the bank. Okay, next to the bank. Okay, the bank which is the land alongside the creek. The ducks disappeared into the rushes. I told you that the rushes are some plants which grew or which grow in the river itself. So the ducks are going to hide there if you're going to hand them. The crayfish, you can look for that kind of fish. It's not really a fish, okay? It has jointed legs, which means legs linked to each other, or which has like this, you see, jointed. Okay. Now, based on your understanding of the story on the banks of Plum Creek, answer the following questions. We're going to revise, merely to revise. What is the genre of this story? Define it. It's a historical fiction, okay? It's set in the past, okay? It's not real as long as we have fiction. That story did not happen. It's an imaginary story. Clear? Why do we say historical? Because in a part in history, in an era in history, we had that land, okay? It existed. But the story itself, okay, it didn't exist. The setting existed, but the story itself, it didn't exist. You see, it's merely an imagination. It only existed in the author's imagination. What gave Laura and Mary a tickly feeling on their feet when they waded in the shallow water? Of course, you remember that when we talked about the small fish, okay, that were nibbling their toes. Next one. What did Laura and Mary use to make necklaces? The rushes near the creek, okay, they used those tall plants to make necklaces, okay, around their necks. They are small girls, they are playing. What was the rule the girls had to follow when they played in the creek? Don't go upstream, said Pa and Ma, okay, to the hole full of deep, dark water, because it was so dangerous. That's the rule. How did Laura describe the tableland? She said it's a high, steep wall of earth where no grass grow. It's like a table, exactly. See, it's a high land with no grass. So if you're looking up from a plane, for example, at that tableland, it looks like a table indeed, but without chairs. What happened that scared Laura when she went too deep? Her father, if you remember, grabbed her leg down, okay, to punish her because she didn't obey him, or she didn't listen to his advice of not going so deep. Why did Pa give her a ducking, okay? And we said that a ducking is a bad joke, okay? Because she went in too far and she did not obey her mother's instructions. What response did Laura have to Pa's ducking? How did she react, you see? She acted as if she's not scared, but indeed she was frightened. You see, she was shaken. She deserved that. The next day, Laura decided to do something that she knew she shouldn't be doing. What was that? She went back to the dangerous places. Her father told her not to go to. Okay, but by the end of the story, she showed us that she's a good girl, and she told her father about that, and she was punished. Okay, what was Laura's punishment for not following directions? They have put her in the house, supervised or watched by her mother. She was surveying her, and it was like the worst day in her life. She didn't like it, and that's why I am sure she's not going to do it again. Okay, we have another video to revise together Yosemite. Please, after finishing this video, move to the other one, please. Thank you.